I want to welcome Minister Chambers to the House. Minister, you're very welcome. And now I call on Senator Mary Siri Cannon. Senator, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you, and thank you very much, Minister Chambers, for coming in. Minister, the Register of Foreign Births, or the Foreign Births Register, is a particular register held by the Department of Foreign Affairs. It is also known as the Citizens by Descent Register, and its normal use is in the context of passports being claimed by people who are maybe the children of Irish citizens who are living abroad, and it's their method by which they obtain an Irish passport. However, it also has particular uses and requirements within Ireland, and that is that if you have an individual who becomes a naturalised Irish citizen and their child is born abroad, then that child needs to go on the Foreign Births Register. It's a particular case where in surrogacy, children born via international surrogacy, by virtue of the way it is, those children are born abroad. DNA is taken at the time of the birth, and that is matched to the Irish citizen biological father. And that child obtains an emergency travel document to come home to Ireland with her family in order, and the entitlement is the fact that this is the biological child of an Irish citizen. If that Irish citizen happens to have been a naturalised Irish citizen, then that child, in order to obtain a passport, must then be entered onto the Foreign Birth Register. And by the time they get to make that application, they've already had all of their a judicial oversight of all of their documentation, because they've had to, that father has had to apply to the courts for a parental order for the setting aside of consent of the surrogate, in order to proceed. So that in itself is a process that can take anything from a couple of months to 18 months to a couple of years. But I suppose the particular cases that I'm concerned about are ones where the application has been made for the foreign register, for the child to be entered onto the foreign birth register, and we are now well over a year later, and there is no sign of that child being issued with a passport, because the process in there, the website itself says it's going to take a 9-month process. And I understand that there are legalities, and I understand that, you know, if I'm applying from a foreign country and saying my father, my grandfather, my mother, my grandmother, whatever, that all that needs to be verified. But here you have situations where you have children where all of their documentation has already been received judicial oversight in the country, and they're just slotted into the list. They're living here. They can't visit relations abroad. They can't go to... So I have one case in particular where a father applied, and I'm not mentioning second fathers and mothers because we don't have a legal standing at the moment in Ireland, but we will soon, hopefully. But in that context, there's one child in particular, and that couple were desperate to get home to Lithuania to visit a great-grandmother who was a grandmother of the baby that was dying. She died. There was no way of expediting the process, no way of pushing them up the list, even though everything that's before the Department of Foreign Affairs has already got judicial oversight. So there is an appallingly long delay in foreign affairs. In instances like that, it is an unwarranted delay. It is a very straightforward system. The people are living here in the country, could go in, give oaths, do whatever. There is no problem with the documentation, but they're not getting anywhere fast. And in one case now, we are now 13 months down the road, and no one will even answer a phone to this guy, send them an email, do anything. So either there's a lack of staffing or there's a lack of willingness, one of the two, and it needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency. Thank you.
Thanks very much. And thank Senator Siri Kearney for raising this and taking this on behalf of the Taoiseach. The Passport Service of the Department of Foreign Affairs is responsible for processing applications for citizenship by descent through the Foreign Births Register under the Irish Nationality and Citizenship Act 1956 as amended. As the Senator will be aware, people born abroad may apply for Irish citizenship through foreign birth registration if one of their grandparents was born in Ireland or if one of their parents acquired citizenship through FBR or naturalisation. Once a person is entered onto the Foreign Births Register, they're an Irish citizen and are entitled to apply for an Irish passport. Foreign birth registration, by its nature, is a detailed and complex process. It can involve official documentation relating to 3 generations and issued by several different jurisdictions. To protect the integrity of the citizenship process, these applications require careful processing in order to validate the identity of the applicant, the documents they've submitted and their entitlement to Irish citizenship. Accordingly, all applications undergo rigorous and detailed checking by experienced officers at the Passport Service. Demand for foreign birth registration services reached unprecedented levels following the Brexit referendum in 2016. Prior to that referendum, FBR applications averaged 5,000 to 6,000 per year. However, post-referendum demand for citizenship via foreign birth registration has increased significantly. The most recent yearly figures saw over 35,000 applications received by the Passport Service in 2023. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the processing time for foreign birth registration applications stood at 18 months due to the dramatic increase in applications as a result of Brexit. The FBR service was also impacted by COVID restrictions in 20 and 21, as well as the unprecedented demand seen in 22. The service was paused for 15 months across the 2020 and 2021 period, after which the turnaround time was over 2 years. Since September 22, significant resources have been deployed, and I'm pleased to inform the Senator that as a result of the deployment of these resources, processing times have been reduced to the normal turnaround time of between 8 and 9 months, and it's a 75% reduction in processing time since 2022. In the medium term, changes to the foreign birth registration process to increase efficiencies and improve the customer experience will be delivered under the next phase of the Passports reform programme, and I can assure the Shannon that the Department of Foreign Affairs is fully committed to maintaining the necessary resources needed to assist with dealing with the high volume of applications. And what I would say, look, I recognise the specific context that you've outlined in the case you've outlined as well, which should receive the attention of officials in the Department of Foreign Affairs so that there is engagement on that matter, and we'll ask that's reflected upon based on what you've set out today.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate an Irish passport is a very precious document. There should be no shortcuts to the application for it for people who are abroad and looking for a passport, who already probably have a passport in the country in which they live. You know, if I'm a British citizen, I'm looking for that Irish by descent, then that's a reasonable situation. This isn't. These are children who have no other state. They are Irish citizens, and that has been adjudicated on by the High Court. There are documentations and orders from the High Court. DNA has been produced. All of that evidence has been put before the High Court, and the High Court have issued orders. So my case is to say there should be a red circled group. There should be an expedited list. They should jump to the top because they don't have any other passport. And that family is prohibited from travelling without a young baby, or prohibited from travelling full stop, because they won't travel without their young baby without this. And it is unreasonable that an Irish citizen child resident in this country is denied a passport, or the passport is delayed because of this. So I completely respect the process. It does need to be robust, but these are a special group, and I'm asking for a red circling of this group and a special treatment of them.
Margaret and Tara.